Chapter 9, To Be Free, 1878 to 1903. Imagine rope being used in a game of tug-of-war between two people. A brightly colored flag is tied to its center, and from opposite ends, each person pulls until the flag and the majority of the rope are closest to their side. Back then, W.E.B. Du Bois, rhymes with voice, and Booker T. Washington were two powerful black leaders in the game of tug-of-war. Except it really wasn't a game. Both men were pulling for their ideas about freedom for black people. What were their ideas about? Education. When Du Bois was 10, and still known as Willie, he was rejected by a girl on an interracial playground because she was white and he was black. This racial experience was part of what drove him to compete with his white classmates. He wanted to convince them he was not different, and if he was going to be different in any way, it would be because he was better. Du Bois believed black people should be educated. You may be thinking, of course, everyone should be educated. But Du Bois didn't believe in education as a way for black people to reach whatever goals they had in mind for themselves. He believed that if black people got a college education, they would be more like white people. And if that happened, white people would accept them. What's that word again? The one to describe people who believe you can only be liked if you act like someone you're not? You got it. Assimilationist. While he believed black people should be educated, he also believed that only 1 in 10 of them was cut out for learning. He thought only the exceptional, quote, talented 10th should get a college education and become leaders of the black race, like him. By now, you're seeing that even leaders can be, well, downright confusing. Du Bois is another example. He was a black man who, at times, didn't think much of black people. On the other side of the tug-of-war rope was another powerful black leader, Booker T. Washington. Washington believed that, for black people, learning a trade like farming and carpentry was more important than going to college, and that black people shouldn't try to become politicians or compete with white people. Washington felt black people should just forget about political equality. Instead, they should be satisfied being thought of as less by white people and become really good at trades such as farming and carpentry to win respect and acceptance. Both Du Bois and Washington were assimilationists. Although they had this in common, they didn't like each other very much and argued over whose ideas were better. They both wrote popular books on their different ideas about education and freedom for black people. Those ideas had something important in common. They said black people couldn't just be themselves. They'd have to behave in ways that would be acceptable to white people.